Yes! Oh, blinking it. Seems a little off. Wait, there we go. Music's off now. Now we can truly get the stream underway. But yes. Big ups to Talsif in the chat. How are you doing? Am I wrong in thinking that this angle's a little off? Let's get that on nonetheless. But as you can see, we are back in the regular setup. It feels good to be back. Big ups to you, Elijah. Now, I don't know if you guys have tuned in to the last couple of streams. I can't quite remember. But if you go back to some of the last stream I did, I wasn't in this room. I was in a very different room. But we're back in this room. It just feels right to be here, guys. It just feels right. But anyway, the big important thing for this stream is looking at our business in the summer. More than the introductions to the squad, but also the exits. Did we let go the right players? Have we replaced in the right manner? My country is having a general election. Oh, big up. So hope it's going well. Hope that is going well for you. But yeah, look, big summer. In terms of entries we've just had, typically we don't bring in more than maybe like 3-4 players. 4 players is quite high for us. There's been some summers where we've brought in 1 or 2. Last summer was actually one of those. But now we're gonna have a look at this summer's business and see how we've done. Yeah, it's going well. Good to hear. But yes, Elijah. Big ups to you for tuning in, and big ups to Talsif as well. Who I saw left a big up message. Now, should I share my screen onto this? This shows all of our business this summer, and it includes Tijani Reinders for 55 million euros, Ait Nouri for 36 million euros, Ryan Shirky for 36 million euros, Trafford for 31 million euros, and believe it or not, Donnarumma came out cheaper for 30 million euros. And Severe Nipan for 15 million euros, and then Bettinelli from Chelsea for 2.4 million euros. Those bottom two, aren't as as much of vocal points. Severe Nipan is probably a bit more of a talking point than Bettinelli, but Bettinelli is very much a Scott Carson replacement. He helps out homegrown a little bit as well, getting around that a tad. But yeah, that's like one of the big reasons he's in, to say the least. But as for Severe Nipan, he's very much a high potential signing that we're going to be loaning out each season for probably a couple of years now to see how he does elsewhere. At the moment, he's at Middlesbrough, but look, he was one of the hottest prospects in terms of midfield in the world, and in terms of a little bit more unknown leagues. We took the gamble on him. We signed him for 15 million, so a decent fee. He's only been on the up since the age of 16. He's gone from 900k to 15 million in just 2 years, so that's not bad, to be fair. He got a goal last season. Hasn't played too many minutes for Middlesbrough so far, but it's not the point. Look, it's a smart move, and we also managed to convince this guy to join our club over clubs like Villa and Arsenal and Girona and other clubs like that. How well do you think Donnarumma will do at Man City? I think he's going to do brilliantly. I think he's going to be a really, really good signing. But look, there's not really much to say out of Nepan other than good luck to him at Middlesbrough, and I hope his loan move goes very, very well. And overall, I think it's just a decent signing. It's not too expensive. It's something that could help us out in the future. But at the very least, we're probably going to make our money back on him in a few years. Bettinelli, really nothing to say. Welcome to the team. Hopefully it's a good and positive atmosphere for the club. Now then, let's start with City's first signing of the summer, which was first proper big signing of the summer, which was Ryan Aitnari. He was the first guy to be holding up the shirt. Oh dear, Talsif, tough luck. Yeah, good luck to you, Talsif, tomorrow. Donnarumma to Man City is 100% the wrong move. MCFC Connect missed comment. Was it school one? Oh, big ups to him anyway. But yeah, look, Donnarumma to Man City being the wrong move. It was a very interesting take, but I want us all to remember that I saw this. It's LB posted this. A lot of people said that Haaland to Man City was the wrong move. He wasn't a Pep type player. He wouldn't work because he wasn't Pep profile. And now look at Haaland for City, and hopefully we can say the same about Donnarumma. For me, Aït-Nouri, it's a bit of an interesting one. Aït-Nouri. Overall, I think he's a very good player, and I think that he will only make us better. To be honest, I think that he is a good signing. Okay, I don't think this is a bad signing whatsoever. So yeah, for me, this is a good signing. But something that Alpha Varka says, and that I do have to agree with, our squad lacks a right back even now. At left back, we did have Josko Vardio. And sure, okay, Vardio, I think we all preferred to see him at centre back, but we knew we had an option at left back in Josko Vardio. But now, we signed Aït-Nouri, and that's good. Okay, it allows Vardio to play elsewhere, but my only thing is, I don't like, in my gut, I feel like there's the potential that the signing of Aït-Nouri didn't block off any move for a right back, but didn't help it out either, is my thing. If I could trade instead of getting Aït-Nouri as getting Livramento, I'd do it, is basically what I'm trying to say. Although I am happy with the fee for Aït-Nouri. Connect the Watch Typical City on a video on Donnarumma. I don't really tend to watch too much YouTube at the moment because I'm just like, I don't know, it's so weird as a YouTuber and watching YouTube. It's like, I can't really describe it to you, Elijah, but no, I haven't watched many City YouTubers as of late. I check in on It's LB and Big Steve, sometimes when Keeney and Way a little bit, and then like This Is City and Alf and whatnot. But I don't really actively watch them like I used to. But anyway, Aït-Nouri for me is a very good signing. I'm gonna give him an 8 because I think this is an 8 out of 10 move. Actually, no, I'll give it a 7.5. I'll give it a 7.5 just because we've gone for a really good fee. You know, it was a good move, pouncing on him when he had 12 months left on his deal. Really good fee for one of the best fullbacks in the league. It made sense. Moving on to the next one, which would have been Rayan Cherki. Rayan Cherki for me is another really, really good move. I think Rayan Cherki looks like a really top player. Now then, I know that we haven't started the season as well, but I'm still trying to base these guys off of the performances they've had so far. By the way, make sure to leave your ratings for these guys in the comments below. Let me know, do you think Aït-Nouri is a 10 out of 10? Do you think Cherki is a 9 out of 10? Maybe you think they're just bad signings. But for me, Rayan Cherki is a good signing. I think he's a very, very good signing and a needed signing as well. Okay, this is one of those signings that, unlike Aït-Nouri, but much like the right back spot, we needed a Rayan Cherki type player. And we've gone and got it, okay? And in comparison to Florian Wirtz, who would cost us 120 million roughly, I'd much rather the almost halfway to 40 million signing that we got in Aït-Nouri. In Cherki, for someone that got like 33 GNA last season in the French league, was in and out of the team a little bit as well. It's only a really, really good move in my eyes, and the fee as well on top. I'm going to give it a 9 just because I really do think it's a really, really good deal. Now then, on to Tijani Reinders. Me personally, this has been my most anticipated signing. I think he's going to be the best of the bunch, and I'm willing to stick by that even now after the first 3 games. I know we obviously started brilliantly at Wolves, but obviously the next 2 games weren't superb. But I'm going to say, you know what, I'm actually going to give this a 10, okay? You don't often see me give 10s on the channel, okay, but I'll give my reasoning. It's a ready-made player, okay? I like developmental signings. You know, that's what Shirky is, Severe Nepan, Trafford. Okay, I like developmental signings. You know, those are good. Okay, those are needed, even. But I also do love a player that is just at the peak of their power now and is ready to help us out now, as opposed to, oh, I'm in and out of the team for a few years, and then I'm ready to help you in a few years when I'm out at the peak of my powers. Sometimes I'd rather get the player that is ready for it now, and that's what Reinders was. When we signed him, he was 26. His birthday wasn't long ago, and he's now 27, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think Tijani Reinders is going to be a top player for us, and I think it's a 10 because the fee is brilliant for a player of his level. 55 million is superb. Okay, that's only a little bit more than Calvin Phillips, FYI. Only a little bit more. The fee is brilliant. The caliber and the type of midfielder he is, he's a box to box, but he can help out in the pivot and he can help out at the 10 if we really need him to. Okay, so he can play anywhere along that middle three, which is really good. It's exactly the type of player Pep wants. He does give you Ilkay Gundogan type vibes a little bit. Donnarumma can actually use his feet. We'll have a look at Donnarumma later because he is a interesting topic. How is Calvin Phillips still at the club? I know. It is truly incredible. Truly incredible. But yeah, Tijani Reinders for me a 10 out of 10. I think it's such a good deal. Okay, I know the start of the season has been a bit rocky from City, but I don't think that takes away from the top talented players we have signed. James Trafford. I think this was a very good deal as well for a goalkeeper who, in a few years, is going to be big for us. And I think this is only amplified by Donnarumma's stuff. I think this is a very good deal. I'm going to give it a 7.5 on par with Ait Nuri, because I just think it works for me. I just think it's this very solid deal. And in a few years, we'll probably look back on it and say it was higher when he's our number one keeper instead of Donnarumma. Donnarumma's done his time and maybe he moves on. But yeah, James Trafford, I'm pretty sure he got Championship Player of the Year, which is a great achievement for a goalkeeper, even if it's the Championship. You know, we beat Newcastle to this guy as well. It's a good deal all the way around. And I think Trafford in that Brighton game, a game we lost, I think he showed how good he can be. I don't blame him for either goal. You know, I thought he was making some real top saves to even keep us in that game, to be honest. So, big ups to James Trafford. He's a superb keeper, I feel, especially for the future. Donnarumma from PSG. I think this is an 8 out of 10 move. To be honest, I do like this move. I think it's very good. Again, please make sure to leave your thoughts down below and what you think to these deals. But yeah, I think Donnarumma is a really smart signing. 30 million euros. That's pretty cheap for a goalkeeper of his level. You know, we made PSG wait to the final day. We made PSG reduce their fee for him, and it's a top keeper that can actually save. Thing goes with Edison. Okay. Shot stopping was never superb. It was never quite up there. Okay, it wasn't like down at the worst in the league, but it was never as good as it probably should have been. Especially in those final couple of years. Okay, earlier, I think it was a bit underrated. But those last 2 years for Edison, I just think his shot stopping wasn't all there. And I don't think his heart was quite fully in it either. But Donnarumma, he can save, and I think the theory about his feet will probably be busted a little bit. You know, people were worried about Haaland and how he would settle into a City team. Haaland's not a passer of the ball, he can't do it, and stuff like that. And for me, I look at Haaland when I think of the Donnarumma signing, in the sense of this is a good signing. It absolutely is a good signing. In terms of distribution, by the way, this was his distribution in the Club World Cup. 5 accurate long balls, okay, which is quite low, according to this, but 88% passing accuracy. That's only going to go up at City because again, it goes up for every player because we make quite straightforward passes a lot of the time. So absolutely, that's only going to go up. Long ball accuracy 55%, which could be worse, and this is indicating it as well, to be fair. So that's pretty good. But that was in the Club World Cup, so oh wait, no, it wasn't even in that. That was just in World Cup qualifiers. In the FIFA Club World Cup, again, the passing accuracy, similar-ish. The long ball accuracy dropped down a lot. To be fair, that game we looked at, there was a one-off game. These were multiple. Let's go to the Champions League. Distribution a bit lower in this one. But saves were still good. And the distribution a lot higher. So, yeah, look, for me, the distribution theory and myth is really just not like people not knowing what they're talking about, but partly that as well, to be honest. But yeah, look, in terms of the signings we did make, I think they were all very good. Okay, is where I'm going with this. I think they were all very good signings, okay, but I don't think that's where our issues lie. I think our issues lie in what I put in the title of the stream, that being, did we do enough? Did we sign enough players for the squad? We still need a right winger, in my opinion, a top right winger. Okay, someone that matches the quality of, say, Marmoush on the left. We still need that, okay? And you might be thinking, oh, Phil Foden. I still think Phil Foden is better in the middle, okay, where he can compete with Shirky, okay, and even probably get games with Shirky in there. So, it can absolutely work, is where I'm going with that. I still think we need a top right winger. Okay, maybe Savinho becomes that. Okay, maybe he's going to unlock his full potential, and that issue won't be an issue. But me personally, I would have taken 70 million for Savinho, and I would have 75 million probably. I would have absolutely taken 75 million, and I would have gone and signed Rodrigo, because Real Madrid were willing to let him go. If we gave Real Madrid the money, they would have probably helped us out a little bit in terms of getting him. And yeah, so I just think of the opportunities that there were, and just a little about it. But overall, it could be worse, is my overall scope on it. Now then, the departures of this summer. We'll look at the permanent moves, but the loan moves do need to be looked at. McAtee for 25 million, about right, to be honest. Yan Couto was a loan with an obligation to buy, so that was always going through. Perone for 13 million. Actually, didn't get a profit for him, which is unlike us, but oh well. Edison to Fenerbahce, 11 mil. Yeah, it's about right, to be fair. So, with all these signings and leaves here, they were all signings that needed to happen. All exits that needed to happen. Couto and Perone, they clearly didn't really have much of a future at the club. It was mainly Edison and McAtee. They 100% didn't have a future at the club. But yeah, I think it's a big move from City, getting some of these players out. I think overall selling Edison will be looking like the better move. Cos Phillips is injured. Big up to you, Steve Black. I do remember that now. He's still getting treatment, isn't he? Unfortunate for us. Hopefully he gets a permanent move in January, though. But yeah, Edison, respect to Edison, but I do think that this is the right move one way or another. I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again because I just think it was correct. I really do. On McAtee, it needs to happen more for him than for us. He needs to go out and get first team football because he's a top player. Okay, if there's anything McAtee deserves, it's to play a lot of football. He's a top player who's 23 now, who doesn't yeah, he doesn't deserve to have to be sat on the bench, getting literally no football. So, yeah, McAtee for me. Go out there and show him what you're worth. Okay, and if he absolutely balls out, we could very much go back in and go pick this guy up. Okay, that's the beauty of it because of the buyback clause. And even if we don't sign him, we'll get a nice selling clause bonus. So it's a win-win all the way around. Now then, let's move on to the loans. I'm not a fan of loaning out, okay? We all know this. I'm not a fan of loaning out players who are like above the age of 26. I'd much rather you just permanently move them on. And I'm specifically indicating Jack Grealish and Manuel Akanji. I don't like it. I just don't think it makes sense. Me personally, loan moves happen for a player that can go out and play for a club regularly and still potentially become a first teamer the following season. Jack Grealish, I don't think he'll ever be a first teamer at City ever again. And Manuel Akanji, I don't think he's ever been a truly 100% guaranteed name on the first team sheet anyway. He's had a lot of starts at the club, don't get me wrong, especially over his last 3 seasons. But I don't feel like loaning him was the best thing. Like last season was a step down. We were willing to let him go if he wanted to go. And that's exactly what's happened. But as opposed to letting him go to AC Milan, who were offering money, Galatasaray, who were offering money, Crystal Palace, who were offering money, we let him go to Inter Milan on loan. I don't get it. I know that was partly due to personal terms not being able to get agreed. Yes, big up to you, Vista City. Are you back in the room? Yes, I am. It's back. Feels good to be back. Just at the moment, this is just talking about our exits from the club and specifically loan moves like Akanji and Jack Grealish. Okay, I believe you know, but I don't like it. I don't like loan moves for players who are above 25 or 26. I'd much rather you just let them go and we'll get the money for them. Because that could have been 15 million for Akanji and potentially like 40, 50 million for Grealish. Now, and to be fair, Grealish keeps going the way he's going with Everton. They'll buy him on permanent, absolutely. 4 assists in like 2 games for Everton this season. Jack Grealish, so big ups to him. He's absolutely balling out, and he could very well bring in 50 million for us. And so I won't be complaining there. But on Akanji, 15 million was very much the price teams were offering anyway. And we've just been like, oh, you can buy him next year instead, potentially. It's not even an obligation to buy. We don't do obligations to buy either, which annoys me. Yo, Connect, yo, Steve Black. To be fair, Akanji, we couldn't have done anything. He rejected every club that came in for him. Like 5 clubs offered 15 million. I know. That's the annoying thing for me. Like, it's so frustrating. Like, because what were the clubs? There was Inter, obviously, who got him. Galatasaray, AC Milan, Crystal Palace, and was it Tottenham? Was it Tottenham as well? Rejected the 4 clubs that all offered the money and took the one that didn't. Sold Akanji for the same as bought. To be fair, I don't think we're ever going to make a profit on him. Technically, we will if Inter do buy him because of the 1 million loan fee, which will be a 1 million profit. Or was it 2 million loan fee? This is saying 1 million, but I believe it was 2. So, Tottenham, AC Milan, Gallia, Crystal Palace. Yeah. It just annoys me that none of them could have gotten him. At the end of the day, I judge Hugo Viana next year. You must sign world-class players. Elise Musiala is a must. Yeah, we got to start signing players that we know are class. Like don't get me wrong, I'm pretty certain that Tijani Reid is obviously class, and Donnarumma obviously class. Shirky, I'm pretty sure is going to become class. Aitnuri, I'm fairly certain, is going to get better too. And Trafford. But these guys, none of them are quite there yet. Only Donnarumma and Reinders at that level now. These guys are going to need probably a couple of years before they're truly at the peak of their powers. Assuming they hit those levels. And for me, I do want more players that are just ready to come in now and deliver. That is the thing. Both of them have release clauses as well. Connect, definitely Musiala, 120 million. Lad, honestly, we need to gel ASAP. We should be, release clauses on both of them. At least say we should be going for, man. We should so go for him. We like him. We obviously like the player because we have had him on. Because it was either him or Doku, remember? And we chose Doku. Gosh, it feels wrong to say. It really does. But it was him or Doku. Pep Linders, by the way, destroying the squad. 10 injuries after 3 games is absolutely ridiculous, clearly due to the training methods he's implemented. I know, 10 injuries is crazy. Like, what was... I'm going to try and find the list. Because 10 injuries is nuts. 10 injuries is bonkers, man. I'm going to find the injury list now. Let's have a look. Oh, wait. It'll be so much easier to go on Instagram for it. I remember seeing the post. Come on. Load up. This is the extra. There you go. 12 players not fully fit. Bettinelli, Aitnuri, Vardio, Kusanov, Lewis, O'Reilly, Phillips, Kova, Bob, Shirky, Foden, Savinio. How? How have we done that? For me, we've gone from 2. We've gone from TZ. Too much the other way. We've gone from useless coaches to coaches overdoing it. Okay, I get it now. We've gone from useless coaches to coaches overdoing it. And we can't keep the ball anymore. Funny how everyone wanted this, but now it's gone bad. Yeah, but to be fair, no one wanted 12 injuries, Steve Black. No one wanted that. That's crazy. That is bonkers. My worry is, if this is how bad it is, how we're going to keep playing every 3 days at Rosemary 10. I know that's the thing, and this is the thing. Yeah, this is my issue. We should have signed more, in my opinion. Okay, whether Pep likes it or not, the game is changing. The game requires bigger squads now. Let's have a look at Man City's squad. Okay, we've looked at our exits. Let's have a look at Man City's actual squad. Now, squad. Is it full squad details? Oh, blinking out. Here we go. By the way, title is over for me. Forget about it. Just forget about it. It's one of the cups is a must. I feel like I'm watching Pep Linders and team, and I despise it. What's going on here? It must be so confusing for the players. Too early, yeah. It's a tough one to determine. Okay, but let's actually have a look at our squad size. Okay, 4 keepers. Okay, one of which is destined to leave. All right, so 4 goalkeepers. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wait, I can't include the loans. Wait. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm not even going to include him. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25 players in our squad. Okay, we can just about get 2 11s out, and then like three guys left out. Okay, and that's including like Bettinelli, by the way. Now then, if I jump on over to Chelsea, I'm very certain I've got a huge squad. Squad size 32. There's 7 more than us. Okay, and 7. You might be thinking, oh, 7's not much. You know, it's only 7. 7 is a crazy amount more. 7 is a huge amount more than we do not have. You know, the 3 goalkeepers, so many centre backs and defenders, good solid list of midfielders, and then an absolute just bag full of attackers. You know, they've got an absolutely huge squad, Chelsea. Huge squad. All pretty young, with an average squad age of 23, but 32 squad size is bonkers. No preseason aided the injuries. I just feel like it's absolutely mental how we in an injury crisis after 3 games. I swear this has never happened to any club. Do you see our bench on Sunday? Unbelievably gone to rubbish. Have a look at it now. I know the bench on Sunday was awful. Awful. I mean, and by the way, yeah, Chelsea. Look at Chelsea. Look at how many attacking options they have. Yeah, look at that. This is it for us. This is it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Compared to Chelsea's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 3 more and they'd have double. It's truly insane. I can't fathom it. Oh man. That's the thing. Okay, we have to get a bigger squad from now on. Okay, this is saying 27. That's including Ortega. It's including Bettinelli. It's including Wilson Esbrand. It's including... Who else is included? It's including Calvin Phillips. So that's 4 that you can really take off, and we're reduced to 23 then. Chelsea, fucking back. Pep must not throw away the Carabao Cup again, or we could be in trouble trophy-wise. We have to win. We have to get an established winning feel back into the team. Okay, give these boys a taste of what it's like to win. You know, and when I say these boys, I mean the guys that aren't really winners. Donnarumma's a winner. Okay, did a really good job at PSG. Give Trafford a trophy. Kusanov. Aït-Nouri. Reinders, I do believe, won stuff with AC Milan, but give him one anyway. Gonzalez, or Nico even. Nunes, he's won a Prem, to be fair, but give him another. O'Reilly. Savinho. Bob. Marmouche. Shirky. You know, so many players don't have you know, so many players don't have that feel of what it's like to win. Okay, and sure, that can make you hungrier, but it doesn't give you the know-how. Okay, people have we've got to give them a sense of what it's like. Remember what the Carabao Cup remember what the Carabao Cup did for our 2017-18 side. A starting era of dominance. Yeah, I mean, 17-18, it was truly beautiful. I only look back with brilliance, you know. 5-0 against Liverpool. I don't know when the next time you'll see that is. You know? 5-0 against Liverpool. Truly incredible. I bring Aït-Nouri up, drop him now until we become a stable, non-fragile team again. Yeah, I mean, that I get what you're saying, that. I get what you're saying. I get why you're saying that. This is City. I really do. because I know he's a player that flourishes, going forward and whatnot, and he leaves the space behind him. Okay, but leaving the space behind him isn't bad, as long as you have the player to be able to cover him. Okay, and that's never usually an issue. Okay, we do that a lot, typically over the years. Joao Cancelo used to love doing that. But we just need. Yeah, like you said, we just need stability to be able to allow Mike Nuri to do stuff like that. Cristiano Stones, Vardio, Ake is just defensively very, very solid, and build-up wise, very good. This is a do you know KHID Jr.? He's my actual. Oh, if you didn't know. Look at that. Big ups to you, Tarsif. I don't know what these full caps comments are about, though. But big ups. But look, my personal opinion on the summer window for City. It wasn't horrendous, okay? Because I think the signings we made, Shirky, Rangers, Aitnuri, Bettinelli, Trafford, Donnarumma. I think those signings aren't bad signings. Those are good signings. But we needed more. We needed more out there. We are still in need of a right back. Rico Lewis, I don't really feel is a right back. I feel he's much more of a midfielder, an 8, if you will. Nunes, he's not really a right back. He's a guy doing a decent job, okay? But as shown against Brighton, has a bozo moment. A proper right back isn't putting their arms up here, okay? Isn't putting their arms up there, okay? They're just not doing that. We all know that bozo moments. Dropping out, I'll leave you in the chat between you. Ta-ta. Big up to you, Steve Black, bro. Big up to you too, now. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's just... We need a right back still. I still think we could use an extra body in the midfield. And I think we need more attackers. I've already said that we need a new right winger. Not because Bob's not good enough, not necessarily because Savinho is not good enough. But I just think we need it to give us a hand. Look at how many top talents Chelsea have in their squad. They've got Joao Pedro, Delap, Neto, Esteval, Garnacho, Gittins, Palmer, all to keep happy amongst that front three of attackers. And they do it, and they will do it. They absolutely will do it. International break in the Big 25. I know, Glimpse. I know. Welcome back. Welcome back to the random streams coming up. Okay, you've got some absolute random ones coming. Pep must go at United. What are you saying? It's that's final chance. Quick question then, this is City. We sack Pep, who do you bring in? I'm not saying I'm anti-sacking Pep or anything like that, okay? I'm willing to do almost anything now to get the team back to where it needs to be. But you sack Pep, who do you want? Realistically available. Who do you think we get? Who do you think we get? Because Luis Enrique, you might think he's ideal, but we're not getting him. I don't think there's any way we get Luis Enrique. I don't think Zidane will go for us. I think he's going to wait for the French job. I mean, he must attack against United. Okay, he has to go at them. My bad. I go back to school tomorrow. Good luck to you, Glimpse. Big ups. And yeah, I agree. I really do agree. United. One thing worried about, I'm not so sure. Man United, I think their attackers aren't bad. I remember watching the Arsenal game, and I actually thought that Cunha did look pretty sharp. Obviously, they just lost to Grimsby Town and barely scraped past Burnley, so don't get me wrong. Not bad, but for me, Yeah, we got to go with them. I don't think they're super defensively sound. They're decent. They've got decent defenders. And like Delict and Euro, okay, they're not awful. But we should be able to get at them. We should be able to get at them. Especially with our attacking talent. We played for a draw against them last season, unforgivable. Yeah, playing for a draw in a derby is such a unforgivable. It's such it's easy way out of really going for something. It's spineless, really. You don't go for a draw in a derby. Savinho, Marmouche, Haaland, Foden, and Reinders and Rodri to destroy them. Yeah, I think we'd all love to see that. Phil Foden back in the scene, that'd be great. Savinho. Really hope Savinho plays well, by the way. I know I've spoken about in this stream about how I'd like to maybe sell Savinho to get Rodrigo, and I would still take that. But I hope he absolutely balls. I'll never hope he does badly. Always back the players that we have. But look, in terms of Man City's window overall, just really thinking about it, the signings we made were good, but we needed more, and now we're left short. I'm going to give it probably maybe a harsh 4. I'm going to give it a 4. Might be harsh, okay, but that 4 comes from the signings that we made, okay? They were all very good. But we're still missing help in key areas. Like, we don't have a right back. We still need a winger. Okay, so, and overall, we're still left short. Okay, no right back this window. It's like no DM in the last window. Okay, we all know how much we were all crying out for a DM last window. Okay, although I do think that last window was worse, by the way. I think last window was like a 2 out of 10. Oh, but look, yeah, the Blues. I'm gonna give it 4 just because of how short-handed we are. Last window was a 2. Why? Because we signed Savinho and we signed Gundo. Okay, not awful. Gundo, Savinho. It has to be a 0 now. I mean, yeah, I could very well easily say that. But Savinho, I don't think it was a bad signing at the time. I just think he needed someone ahead of him. And Gundo, at the time, everyone liked the Gundo move. Okay, I'm not gonna hide that. Everyone loved the idea of Gundo coming back, but we still needed a definitive DM, and we didn't get that. And we lost a key attack engine. I'll give it a 1. Okay, I'll give it a 1 just because of Savinho. Alvarez, yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, I completely forgot about Alvarez. I'll give it a 1 just because I won't completely disregard Savinho. But everything else. But, yeah, this window I'm giving a 4 because the signings we made. The board cannot make emotional decisions. Yeah, true. Board's got to be more professional than that. Yeah, I'll give it a 4. It was a good window in terms of the players we bought in, but we needed more. We're still looking a bit light, and especially with 12 injuries on the squad. Look, big up to everyone who tuned in. This is City. Savinho will cook on the left, but will he get the chance to? That's the thing. I don't know. I really don't know. I really want him to, though, because he can cook on the left, okay? We both agree that he cooks best on left because that's his left foot, and he's got a really good cross on him. He's got a great left-footed cross. I still blame Tiki and Pep 90% for this. Yeah. I do feel bad for Vienna, but next summer is his summer to cook. That's when he's really got to start cooking. Okay, he made good signings this window. Okay, I don't think any of the signings he made were bad. But next window, he's got to sign top players. You know, your Livramentos, your Elises, you know, even your Hakimis. You know, I'm not saying go sign Hakimi, but I'm saying that quality. Khaldoon blocked it. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Khaldoon. Wow. Didn't really think he would. But look, Booze, thank you to everyone who tuned in. I do appreciate the support. It's nice to be back in the room. International breaks coming up. Content's going to be a little weird. Video we're releasing tomorrow. Hopefully doing a stream, but it'll be a little late again. But definitely we're dropping a video tomorrow. Big up to everyone who tuned in. I appreciate the support as per usual. This is Sissy, Talsey, Steve Black, Glimpse, Elijah, anyone else. Big ups to you all. Really, really do appreciate the support. Make sure to leave a like on the stream if you haven't already. Every like is huge. And yeah, I'll absolutely see you all in the next one. And absolutely, I'll see you all tomorrow. And next live, if I don't go live tomorrow, I'll 100% go live on Friday and the One Blue Friday show. So you'll see me twice. Big ups to you all. I'll see you all tomorrow.